What's good, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Sneaks Around Life. So, you may be asking, why am I wearing this shirt? Um, I know not everyone watches me on YouTube, but today's episode is inspired by none other than Lamont Coleman, otherwise known as the Great Big L. So, yesterday, which would have been the 30th of May, would have been his 47th birthday. It's crazy to believe that so much time has passed with Big L passing. He passed away in 99. But with thinking about his birthday and a variety of other things, we're just going to do a quick reflection of the career of Big L. So, Big L grew up in Harlem. We know that the nickname for Harlem is the Danger Zone. 103 or 139 in Lenox is the block that Big L, along with his older brother, spent a lot of time. But we know Big L is, this up and coming superstar rap talent that was taken away from us way too soon. We've heard him on freestyles. We heard him on Stretch and Mobito, the infamous freestyle he did with Jay Z, and he was at that point a better lyricist and probably a better MC than Jay Z. Obviously, we know Jay Z has moved on to bigger and better things and really grown his career, but Big L was it, and whether it's his vocabulary and his diction, his lyrical skill, his cadence. But I think one of the greatest skills Big L has is his ability to paint this incredible picture of what he's describing with his words. Um, we say that some of the crazy things that Big L has come up with. Um, almost painted a new genre of hip hop called horrorcore. And yeah, we know we heard Grave Diggers kind of get into it a little bit, but Big L took this to a whole new level. So when we talk about top lyricists, in the game, many will obviously mention some of the forefathers, whether it was Mo D and to then LL Cool J and then Kane and oh, and definitely you can't miss Rakim. And then fast forward into the 90s, we're talking about Biggie and Pac and obviously Nas and then Jay-Z and many of the others. And then, here we are in the 2000s. And, some of the best are, from J. Cole to Kendrick to Black Thought, which has been going on it for 20 years. And then obviously Royce the 5'9". But Big Pun is one that always gets compared to Big L. Similar timelines in terms of how long they were in the game. They only got one album out before they kind of passed away, or their best work was when they were alive. And again, it's really unfortunate that we just lost him so early. He really kind of broke into the record the record business in 90. He was at some record store in New York, and he was actually trying to get an autograph from none other than Lord Finesse that was on a promotional tour. And a few of his boys rapped, and Lord Finesse was not impressed. And then Big L spit, and Lord Finesse was absolutely blown away. Just style and just like over the top lyrics, and truly again that painted that picture that stays with you in your brain, right? So they exchanged numbers that day, and that was the rest of the history. And wherever in the passing months and even years, wherever Lord Finesse went, Big L went with him. He really helped mentor him, and really helped pull things together for Big L to there were a couple B-sides that what Big L was on as he was slowly coming up on putting out his first album, which was Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous. Party Over Here remix, or Yes You May remix, and Party Over Here were B-sides on some DITC joints. So for those don't know, DITC, Digging in the Crates. I have had the great OC on this podcast already, and But the Digging and Crates crew is Diamond D, Showbiz, um, Fat Joe, Lord Finesse, AG. Um, I know I'm missing someone. Obviously, OC, and then obviously Buckwild on production. So that's kind of the crew. There's people that have kind of been around as well, but that's kind of the core, call it crew. So amazing records they put together, and I will put them up literally against anyone bar for bar production. They just produce hits. You know, for those that didn't know, Diamond D produced the score for the Fugees, so that dude's got a Grammy. But anyways, to stick to my man Big L. So um, he eventually got signed to a deal in '92 on Columbia when he was running with DITC. He did a promo song, "Devil's Son." That this is where this whole horrorcore. Like it's like you listen to that song, you can find it on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Music. But the song is just like you know, you know, so in depth and like takes you to a whole new place. But anyways, when the album came out, Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous, um, two big songs obviously was MVP, but he sampled Big Daddy Kane's voice, which he did. He definitely looked up to, and then obviously we had Kid Caprice's hype man as put it on Big L, and that one still rings in my head. It's funny when that they were promoting that song on or promoting the album. We had um, Big L show up on the infamous Stretch and Bobbito show, and he was with Jay Z, and him and Jay Z were boys. They were working on actually coming up with this group, based on they were on different labels at the time, but those things never really kind of materialized. But there's this infamous freestyle, and you probably heard it. It's like 8-9 minutes long of just Jay Z and Big L going back and forth. But I would tell you that Big L spit better bars and sound like the better lyricist that night in the studio. Now, hey, I know there's lots of Jay Z fans that are out there, and I'm not gonna discredit, uh, Jay Z, who's worth like, almost if not or almost $1 billion. Kanye's got the most in the bag right now after some of his acquisitions and some of the things he's done outside music, but when we talk straight lyrics, and there's a lot of respect to Jay Z, but Big L was right there, shining with him, if not the better of the two. So, fast forward, after those two singles came out in '95, there was a lot of beef with how the album was promoted, how it was produced. Big L wasn't happy, and Big L wanted more. So, ultimately, he did get dropped from Columbia. So he was independent and he came up with his own plan. You know what? I'm going to come up with my own label. I'm going to do this independent, and I'm gonna come out with my own record called The Big Picture. So he started working on it, started putting down tracks. First single he released was, I think it was in '97, probably like '98, was Ebonics, and that song is just mind blowing how crazy that album is. Well, that song, and so many just like how he was able to flip street slang and break it down for everyone what he was talking about, like many rhymes that he had said before. So totally dope, totally amazing. And we were all getting ready for this big picture album. It was in you even hear you know, the buzz that Big L was about to take over hip hop. This is when we had DMX out, and we had a little buzz from Ja Rule, and Jay Z was making its play on the rap game, and obviously lots of stuff was happening down south. Outkast was booming. We had Hot Boys, started the pop, but Big L was about to make his mark and make his run. We had just lost um, Biggie and Pac, and right around those times, and it was time for the big picture. It was time for Big L to take over, but Big L, lived in the streets. Unfortunately, his brother was deep, deep in the streets. And although a lot of things happen in New York, particularly in Harlem, and people unfortunately get shot all the time, many people believe that when Big L unfortunately passed away because he was gunned down in the street, was retaliation for something that happened, whether it was his brother or one of his boys or something like that. This led to, unfortunately, Big L passing well before his prime, well before his time. And we know the album is dope. If you listen to the big picture, my favorite track on the album is the one with oh geez, Big Daddy Kane. Absolutely flips it. The heist, both versions of the heist, the production on it is absolutely crazy. But yeah, Big L left us too soon. We're still working on trying to tell that Big L story like I'm trying to tell today. That a couple people have been working on documentaries. There's this Foul Child documentary that's supposed to come out. I don't think it even got finished, even though I saw the trailer. And I even know Street Struck is another doc that actually Mass Appeal, which Nas runs, has been trying to tell this Big L story for years now. It still hasn't come to be. Hopefully it does. But almost any MC that talks about Big L, whether it was OC or even you've heard so many people talk about him. Fat Joe talks about him in high regard. Um, yeah, it just never happened the way it was supposed to happen, and we never see Big L get his shine. But we all, as I'm seeing if you're watching me on YouTube, put my L up. Gangstar really took Big L and that champion thing. Primo loved working with Big L, and every chance he got, it was Guru says it um, on one of their records, full clip, put your hells up. So yeah, it's amazing that Big L is no longer with us. I can relate because we're so close together in age, but it's unfortunate. But better days are ahead, and his music will live forever. So thank you everyone for listening. Some great things are continuing to happen. NBA basketball, my Knicks are reeling, but it's still good to see them in the playoffs. The Leafs got Game 7 tonight against the Habs. If I'm a Leafs fan, I would be crazy worried about what's about to happen tonight. Hopefully their big boys can step up, but if not, Carey Price is going to steal this game, and that's that. Crazy heat we're seeing. We'll talk about it at another date on some of the amazing on-court kicks that are happening out there. So a lot of things is popping. Hopefully Toronto gets a chance to open in the near future. We got some street stores or ones with external entrances be able to open, and hopefully in a few weeks. And case counts is going down. We're down under 1,000 cases probably for the first time in like 3 months. So it's getting better. Everyone's got to stay the course, stay positive, stay up. Continue to spend time with your loved ones. Continue to enjoy the things you love, whether it's sneakers, music, whatever. And I'm just trying to give you everyone it's a little outlet, a little something, a little laugh. You hear my passion talking about Big L because that's my man. When we talk about top 5 MCs, many people don't agree with him, but Big L is there for me. We talk Nas, we talk Biggie, we talk, or sorry, I'll take that back. We go Nas, we go Rakim, we go Black Thought, we go Big Daddy Kane, and then we're going Big L. Biggie is in the conversation. KRS is definitely in the conversation. He's like my honorable mention. Sixth man off the bench. But when we talk about my favorites and who I think is the best fitters. Kendrick would be in my top 10, but when we talk of the top 5, my man Big L is in the top 5. So thank you everyone for listening. Much love, much support, and until the next episode, peace.